Before this story begins, you need to understand one thing. This is not a story about speed. It's a story about people who were broken long before they ever touched the road. If stories about loyalty, loss, and chosen family move you, subscribe to the channel. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? Every road has a story. This one begins at midnight. The highway was almost empty when Ethan Cole pressed the accelerator. Rain streaked across the windshield like scars that refused to heal, the yellow lines blurring into a single trembling thread of light. The engine roared, but inside him there was only silence. At 32, Ethan had learned one brutal truth. The faster you run, the louder your past becomes. He hadn't planned to stop at the old gas station on mile 47. The sign flickered weakly, open, as if it were barely holding on, just like him. But the fuel light blinked red, forcing a choice. The road always does. Inside, the smell of oil and burnt coffee hung heavy in the air. A man stood behind the counter, tall, broad-shouldered, his arms marked with faded tattoos that spoke of other lives, other wars. His eyes lifted slowly, sharp and observant. "You're running late," the man said calmly. Ethan frowned. "You say that to everyone?" The man's mouth curved into a half-smile. "Only to the ones who look like they're running from something." Ethan didn't answer. He paid in cash. Always cash. Names had weight. Faces stayed behind. Outside, thunder rolled in the distance. As Ethan turned back toward his car, a low growl cut through the rain, another engine, then another. Headlights emerged from the darkness like predators. 3 cars. Blacked-out windows. No plates. The man from the counter stepped outside, wiping his hands on a rag. "That's not good," he muttered. The cars stopped too close. Doors opened slowly. Ethan's pulse spiked. He recognized the posture. The tension. He'd seen it before, the moment before everything falls apart. One of the men smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "Evening," he said. "We're looking for someone." His eyes locked on Ethan. "There's a debt," the man continued. "And tonight, it's due." Ethan's hand twitched instinctively. No weapon. No escape. Just rain, asphalt, and memories crashing back all at once. The man from the gas station stepped forward, placing himself slightly between Ethan and the strangers. "Road's neutral ground," he said quietly. "That's the code." The leader laughed. "Not tonight." For a split second, Ethan saw something in the stranger's eyes, not fear, but decision. A choice that would change everything. Because sometimes, the road doesn't bring danger. Sometimes, it brings family. And Ethan was about to find out what the highway code really meant. The rain intensified, drumming against metal and asphalt as if the sky itself sensed what was coming. The 3 men stood motionless, their shadows stretching across the wet ground, distorted by the flickering lights of the gas station. Ethan's mind raced faster than the engine ever could. He knew those men. Not their faces, but their purpose. Debts didn't disappear. They waited. The man from the gas station stepped forward again. His presence was calm, deliberate, as if he'd walked into danger 1,000 times before. "Last warning," he said. "You don't want trouble here." The leader tilted his head, amused. "Funny thing about trouble," he replied. "It usually starts with people who think they can stop it." One of the men reached inside his jacket. Everything happened at once. A sharp movement. A flash of metal. The sound of a punch connecting with bone. Ethan barely realized he'd moved until his fist collided with the man's jaw. Years of survival kicked in, instincts buried deep, trained by nights he'd sworn never to remember again. The gas station man was already fighting. Efficient. Controlled. No wasted motion. He disarmed one attacker and shoved him into the hood of a car with brutal precision. Tires screeched as another vehicle pulled into the station. A pickup truck this time. Old. Loud. Familiar. Two more figures jumped out. Marcus, one of them shouted. We saw the lights. So that was his name. The fight was short, violent, and messy. When it ended, the rain washed blood into the cracks of the asphalt like it had been there before, like it belonged. The remaining attackers retreated, engines screaming as they disappeared back into the night. Silence followed. Ethan leaned against his car, breathing hard. His hands shook, not from fear, but from recognition. Marcus watched him carefully. They won't stop, he said. Not now. Ethan nodded. I know. For what it's worth, Marcus continued, you should have kept driving. Yeah, Ethan replied quietly. I tell myself that a lot. Marcus glanced toward the road, then back at Ethan. You got somewhere to be? Ethan hesitated. The truth hovered on his lips. I don't, he said finally. Marcus studied him for a long moment, then gestured toward the pickup. Then you better follow us. There are rules out here. Codes. And once you're part of it. He didn't finish the sentence. Ethan started the engine. The road stretched ahead, dark and endless. For the first time in years, he wasn't running alone. Because the code of the road wasn't about speed. It was about who stood beside you. When the past came knocking, the pickup truck cut through the rain like it had done so 1,000 times before. Ethan followed closely, headlights steady, heart anything but. The gas station disappeared behind them, swallowed by darkness, as if it had never existed. The road narrowed. Trees pressed in on both sides, branches clawing at the night. This wasn't a place you found by accident. After 15 minutes, the truck turned off the highway and rolled through a rusted gate. A warehouse emerged from the shadows, old, scarred, alive. Light spilled from its windows, warm and defiant against the storm. Marcus parked and stepped out. Welcome, he said, to what's left of us. Inside, the air smelled of oil, metal, and something else, familiarity. Tools lined the walls. Engines sat half open like wounded animals waiting to be healed. A few people looked up as Ethan entered. No surprise. No judgment. Just quiet assessment. A woman wiped her hands on a cloth and approached. Late 30s. Sharp eyes. Calm strength. You're bleeding, she said to Ethan. I've had worse. She nodded. Name's Lena. Marcus spoke behind him. He's trouble. Ethan almost laughed. Almost. They patched him up without questions. No one asked where he came from. No one asked why men with dead eyes were hunting him. On the road, curiosity could get you killed. As the storm raged outside, Marcus finally sat across from him. You want to tell us why they're after you? Ethan stared at the floor. Silence stretched. Then broke. 3 years ago, he said, I drove for the wrong people. One job went bad. Someone died. No one interrupted. I walked away. Or thought I did. But you don't walk away from blood. Lena crossed her arms. And now? And now they want payment. Marcus leaned back. We don't protect debts. Ethan met his gaze. I'm not asking for protection. Just time. Marcus studied him like a road map, reading every crack. Time costs something. Outside, thunder cracked like a warning. Stay the night, Marcus finally said. At sunrise, you decide. You leave, or you ride with us. With you? Ethan asked. Marcus stood. We move cargo. Legal and not. We follow a code. We don't abandon our own. Ethan felt something unfamiliar twist in his chest. Not hope. Not yet. Belonging. He lay awake later on a worn couch, staring at the ceiling, listening to engines cool and rain fade. For the first time in years, no one was chasing him, not physically. But the road never forgets. And at sunrise, Ethan would have to choose between running again. or standing with strangers who were starting to feel dangerously close to family. Morning arrived without kindness. The rain had stopped, but the sky remained heavy, low, as if it hadn't finished judging them yet. Ethan woke to the sound of engines. Not roaring, breathing. The kind of slow, steady rumble that meant preparation, not escape. He sat up, rubbing his eyes, and for a moment forgot where he was. Then memory rushed back. The warehouse was alive now. Lena stood beneath a lifted car, barking instructions. Marcus leaned over a table spread with maps, routes marked in red ink. Others moved with purpose, no wasted steps, no raised voices. This wasn't chaos. It was order earned through scars. Marcus noticed Ethan watching. "Coffee's terrible," he said. "But it's honest." Ethan accepted the mug. "You didn't have to let me stay." Marcus shrugged. "Road rules. You don't leave a man bleeding." Lena joined them. "You decide yet?" Ethan stared into the dark liquid. He'd spent his life choosing wrong turns. Every escape had only tightened the net. "I ride with you," he said quietly. No celebration followed. No smiles. Just nods. Acceptance without ceremony. Marcus slid a set of keys across the table. "Then you follow the code." "What code?" "Rule 1, Marcus said. We don't lie to each other. Rule 2, if one of us falls, we all stop. Rule 3. He paused. No one rides alone. They rolled out just after sunrise. For vehicles this time, spaced perfectly, moving like a single organism. Ethan took the rear position. Guard. Watcher. Responsibility. Miles passed. The city gave way to open road. Silence filled the radio, broken only by short, efficient updates. This wasn't speed. It was trust. Then the radio crackled. "Marcus," Lena's voice came tight. "We've got company." Ethan saw them seconds later, 2 cars, fast, aggressive, weaving through traffic. Too familiar. His stomach dropped. "They found us," he said. Marcus's voice stayed calm. "Hold formation." One of the cars surged forward, trying to cut Ethan off. Instinct flared. He adjusted, blocking the move. Metal screamed as mirrors clipped. "Easy," Marcus warned. "We don't panic." A third car appeared from an on-ramp. They were being boxed in. Ethan's hands tightened on the wheel. This wasn't a chase. It was a message. Lena spoke again, steady despite everything. "If they force us to stop." Marcus finished the thought. "We don't break the code." Ethan understood then. This wasn't about him anymore. He had brought danger to them. And the road was demanding a price. As the first car slammed its brakes in front of him, Ethan made a decision, one that could save them, or destroy everything he'd just found. He turned the wheel hard. The wheel jerked violently as Ethan swerved. Tires screamed, rubber burning against asphalt, and for a heartbeat the world tilted sideways. The car in front missed him by inches, spinning out of control before slamming into the guardrail. "Hold it together," Marcus shouted through the radio. Ethan corrected, breath locked in his chest. His pulse thundered louder than the engine. The convoy didn't scatter. It tightened. Closed ranks. They weren't running. They were standing their ground. The remaining cars pushed harder now, anger replacing strategy. One rammed Lena's rear bumper. Her vehicle fishtailed, then steadied. "I'm good," she said. Still rolling. Ethan felt something shift inside him. In his old life, people scattered the moment things went bad. Survival was individual. Fast. Cold. This was different. Marcus's voice cut through the chaos. "Exit coming up." "On my mark." The road curved sharply ahead, a forgotten industrial exit barely visible behind overgrown signs. Ethan recognized the trap, narrow, blind, nowhere to run. Marcus said. They peeled off together. Concrete walls closed in, sound amplifying, engines echoing like distant thunder. One of the pursuers followed too close, misjudged the turn, and clipped the barrier. Sparks exploded behind them. Only one car stayed on them now. Persistent. Personal. Ethan checked his mirrors. The driver leaned forward, face twisted with fury. This wasn't about money anymore. It was about punishment. They won't stop, Ethan said. They never do. Marcus replied without hesitation. Then we end it. The convoy burst out into an abandoned freight yard. Rusted containers formed narrow corridors, perfect for ambush or disaster. Marcus braked hard. The others followed, forming a wall. Ethan stopped last. The pursuing car screeched to a halt 20 yards away. Doors opened. Two men stepped out, weapons low but ready. This doesn't concern you, one shouted. Hand him over. Silence stretched. Marcus exited his truck slowly. Lena joined him. Then the others. No one moved aside. Ethan felt his throat tighten. No one had ever done this for him. Not without a price. Marcus spoke calmly. You cross our road, you cross all of us. The man laughed. You don't know what he did. Marcus didn't look back. Doesn't matter. He rides with us now. Time slowed. The wind pushed dust across the concrete. Ethan stepped forward. This is on me, he said. Let them go. Marcus turned, eyes hard. Rule 2. If one of us falls, Lena added quietly, we all stop. The men raised their weapons. In that moment, Ethan understood the truth. The road hadn't just given him shelter. It had given him a choice, to run again. Or finally stand and protect something bigger than himself. He stepped in front of Marcus. And the first shot rang out. The gunshot cracked the air, sharp and final. Ethan felt the impact before he heard anything else, not pain, but force, knocking the breath from his lungs as he hit the ground hard. Shouts erupted. Tires screeched. Metal rang as someone kicked a weapon away. Ethan! Lena's voice cut through the chaos. The world blurred. He tasted blood. The sky above the freight yard spun slowly, clouds drifting like they didn't care what happened below. He hadn't been shot. The bullet had grazed his shoulder, tearing through fabric and skin, burning like fire. Pain arrived late, flooding in all at once. Marcus stood over him, fury carved into every line of his face. One of the attackers lay face down nearby, groaning. The other had bolted, engine screaming as he fled the yard. Sirens wailed in the distance, someone had called it in. Marcus crouched. You alive? Ethan nodded weakly. Guess I don't get off that easy. Marcus almost smiled. Almost. They moved fast. Lena pressed cloth to Ethan's shoulder while the others scattered, vehicles disappearing down different routes. The code wasn't just about loyalty, it was about survival. Minutes later, they regrouped beneath an overpass miles away. Shadows swallowed them whole. Lena checked the wound. You're lucky. Ethan laughed softly. I've never been accused of that. Silence followed. Heavy. Expectant. Marcus finally spoke. You stepped in front of me back there. Ethan met his eyes. You didn't have to protect me. That wasn't the rule, Marcus said. You are. Something tightened in Ethan's chest. He looked around at them, strangers hours ago, now bound by blood and choice. You don't know what I did, Ethan said. Who I used to be. Marcus stood. We all carry ghosts. The road doesn't ask where they came from, only where you're going. Ethan lowered his head. For years, he'd believed redemption was a lie people told themselves to sleep at night. Now, standing under concrete and shadow, bleeding but alive, he wasn't so sure. The radio crackled again. Marcus, a voice said. We've got movement. They're regrouping. Marcus's jaw tightened. Then this isn't over. He looked at Ethan. You still with us? Ethan didn't hesitate. I'm done running. Marcus nodded. Good. Because the next stretch of road. He paused, eyes hard, voice low. Is where everything breaks. Ethan leaned back against the cold steel barrier, pain pulsing with every heartbeat. For the first time in his life, the danger ahead didn't make him want to flee. It made him want to fight. Because when you stop running, the road doesn't get easier. It just tells you who you really are. The past always rides shotgun. Night fell again before anyone spoke. They moved camp farther from the highway, engines cold now, bodies heavy with what had almost happened. The silence wasn't empty, it was crowded with things unsaid. Ethan sat alone near the edge of the overpass, arm wrapped tight, watching headlights pass in the distance like lives that never slowed down. Lena approached quietly and handed him a bottle of water. You don't sleep much, she said. Sleeping gives the past room to talk. She nodded. That's why I stay awake. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Ethan exhaled, long and slow, like he'd been holding his breath for years. The man who died, he began, wasn't supposed to. Lena didn't interrupt. It was a run across state lines. Easy. That's what they said. I was the driver. Just speed. Just timing. His jaw tightened. A kid stepped onto the road. Wrong place. Wrong second. Lena's eyes softened, but she said nothing. I swerved. Saved him. The car behind me didn't. Ethan swallowed. The man in that car burned alive. The road hummed beneath them, uncaring. They blamed me, he continued. Said I broke formation. Broke the code. So you ran, Lena said quietly. I survived. She looked at him. Those aren't the same thing. Later, Marcus joined them. He'd heard enough. Every crew has a code, Marcus said. The bad ones use it to control. The good ones use it to protect. Ethan shook his head. What if the road never forgives? Marcus stared out at the dark. The road remembers. Forgiveness comes from people. A vehicle approached in the distance, slow, deliberate. No headlights. Just the sound. Everyone tensed. But it was one of theirs. A scout. They're not backing off, the scout said. They want you, Ethan. And they know where we're heading. Marcus straightened. Then we stop letting them chase us. Ethan stood. I won't let this crew fall because of me. Marcus met his gaze. That decision stopped being yours when you stayed. The plan came together quickly. Risky. Final. At dawn, they would take a route no one used anymore, a stretch of road locals called Dead Mile. No cameras. No help. No witnesses. A place where debts were settled. Ethan felt the weight of it settle into his bones. He'd spent years believing the road only took things from you. Now it was offering him something else. A chance. As the engines cooled and the night pressed in, Ethan realized the truth he'd been avoiding. The past wasn't chasing him anymore. It was waiting, 1 mile ahead. The Dead Mile has no witnesses. Dawn broke without color. The sky over Dead Mile was a flat, lifeless gray, like the world itself was holding its breath. The road ahead stretched straight and empty, cracked asphalt cutting through abandoned land where nothing grew anymore. No signs. No cameras. No second chances. Marcus's voice came through the radio, low and steady. Once we enter, we don't turn back. Ethan tightened his grip on the wheel. His shoulder throbbed, a dull reminder of how close he'd come to ending on that freight yard floor. Pain grounded him. Kept him present. They entered Dead Mile in formation. The silence was suffocating. Even the engines seemed quieter here, as if the road demanded respect. Then the first shadow appeared in the mirror. "They're here," Lena said. One car became two. Then four. Familiar shapes. Familiar aggression. They didn't honk. Didn't flash lights. Predators didn't announce themselves. Ethan felt the old fear rise, the instinct to run, to break formation, to save himself. He forced it down. "Hold speed," Marcus ordered. The lead car surged forward, trying to split them. Ethan adjusted, blocking the move, heart pounding. Metal kissed metal. Sparks flew. "This is it," someone muttered over the radio. The road narrowed unexpectedly, forcing everyone closer. One wrong move would send them spinning into nothing. A voice came through Ethan's radio, not Marcus. "You should have stayed gone," the man said calmly. "People die when you drive." Ethan recognized the voice instantly. The past had found him. "I know," Ethan replied. "That's why this ends today." The car behind him rammed again. Harder this time. Ethan's vehicle lurched, tires screaming as he fought for control. "Ethan!" Lena shouted. "I'm good," he said, even if he wasn't sure. Marcus's voice cut in. "On my signal." Dead Mile opened into a wide stretch, the only place to maneuver. Wind howled across the empty land like a warning. Now. The convoy split with surgical precision. Two cars veered left, one right. Ethan stayed center, bait. The lead pursuer took it. They were alone now, racing side by side down a road that had ended lives before. The man leaned out his window, rage etched into his face. "You cost us everything." Ethan looked ahead, not at him. "No. We chose wrong. All of us." A sharp turn loomed ahead, unmarked, unforgiving. Ethan made his choice. He hit the brakes. The other driver didn't. The impact echoed across Dead Mile like a verdict. When the dust settled, Ethan sat trembling, alive, staring at twisted metal in his mirror. The radio crackled. "Ethan," Marcus said softly. "Report." Ethan exhaled, tears mixing with sweat. "It's over." But as he stepped out of the car, he knew the truth. Dead Mile had taken its payment. And the road wasn't finished telling its story. The silence after the crash was louder than the impact itself. Wind pushed dust across Dead Mile, settling slowly over twisted metal and broken glass. No sirens. No witnesses. Just the road, watching. Ethan stood frozen, legs weak, chest tight. The car behind him was destroyed, its front crushed, smoke rising in thin, defeated lines. He didn't move closer. He already knew. Marcus arrived moments later, stepping out carefully. His eyes scanned the wreck, then Ethan. "It's done," Marcus said. Ethan nodded, but the weight didn't lift. Ending something didn't mean escaping it. Lena joined them, face pale but steady. "We need to go. Someone will come eventually." They moved quickly. The wreck stayed behind, swallowed by distance and dust, like a scar the land had learned to hide. Hours later, they regrouped far from Dead Mile. Engines cooled. Bodies sagged. No one spoke for a long time. Finally, Ethan broke the silence. "I killed him." Marcus didn't flinch. "You stopped him. There's a difference." Marcus looked at him. "Sometimes. Not always." Ethan turned away. "People die around me." Lena stepped closer. "People also live because of you. You saved a kid. You saved us." Ethan shook his head. "That doesn't erase it." "No," Marcus agreed. "But it changes what comes next." The radio crackled, a news bulletin cutting through static. "Authorities are investigating a fatal crash along an abandoned industrial route." Ethan felt the words like a verdict. Marcus reached out, gripping his shoulder, careful of the wound. "This is where most men break. Or disappear." "What if I don't deserve to stay?" Ethan asked. Marcus's voice was firm. "Deserve has nothing to do with family. That word hit harder than any crash. Family. They shared a quiet meal as night returned. No celebration. No relief. Just understanding. Later, as the others slept, Ethan sat alone, watching the road stretch into darkness. He thought about the man who died years ago. The one who burned. The one he never forgot. For the first time, he didn't run from the memory. He faced it. The road had taken its payment. But it had also given him something back, the chance to carry the weight without being alone. As headlights appeared in the distance, Ethan stood, resolved. Whatever came next, he would face it. Not as a runner, but as part of something that refused to let him fall. The weight you choose to carry. Morning came quietly. No engines. No radios. Just the soft sound of wind moving through empty land. The kind of silence that forces you to listen to yourself. Ethan hadn't slept. He sat on the hood of his car, staring at the horizon, replaying every mile that had brought him here. Dead mile. The crash. The man's voice. The final impact. Marcus approached with 2 cups of coffee. He handed one to Ethan without a word. I keep thinking, Ethan said finally, that if I'd made one different choice back then, none of this would have happened. Marcus leaned against the car. You could say that about any road. That doesn't make it easier. No, Marcus agreed. It makes it honest. They watched the others wake slowly. Lena stretched her shoulders, eyes scanning instinctively. The crew moved like people who had learned not to waste energy, or trust, easily. Ethan stood. I can't keep dragging you into this. Marcus turned to face him fully. You think this was about you? Ethan hesitated. This crew existed before you, Marcus continued. And it'll exist after. We choose our risks. We chose you. Lena joined them. You didn't ask to belong. You earned it. Ethan swallowed hard. He wasn't used to being chosen. A distant rumble cut through the air. Not fast. Heavy. Deliberate. Marcus's expression tightened. That's not them. A truck appeared on the ridge, old, government issue. Then another. Unmarked. Someone talked, Lena said. Marcus nodded once. We knew this day would come. Ethan felt the familiar pull, the urge to step away, to disappear before he destroyed something else. I'll go, he said. Draw them off. Marcus shook his head. Rule 3. No one rides alone, Lena added. Ethan looked at them, at the people who had stood between him and bullets, between him and himself. This ends one way or another, he said. Marcus opened the truck door. Yeah. Together. They rolled out slowly, not chasing, not fleeing. Meeting what was coming head-on. As the unmarked trucks closed the distance, Ethan felt something settle inside him, not peace, but acceptance. Some roads don't offer escape. They offer reckoning. And for the first time in his life, Ethan wasn't afraid of what waited at the end. He was ready to face it. With his family beside him. The unmarked trucks didn't rush them. They didn't need to. They moved with the confidence of people who believed the road already belonged to them. Marcus slowed the convoy and pulled onto a wide stretch of cracked pavement overlooking a dry riverbed. Nowhere to hide. Nowhere to run. The engines idled, low and steady, like restrained animals. The truck stopped across from them. Doors opened. Men stepped out, not aggressive, not hurried. Professionals. The kind that didn't raise their voices because they didn't have to. One of them walked forward. Older. Calm. Eyes that had seen too many endings. Ethan Cole, he said. You've been hard to find. Ethan stepped out before anyone could stop him. I'm right here. Marcus moved beside him instantly. Then Lena. Then the rest of the crew. A line formed without discussion. The man observed them, unimpressed. This doesn't concern you. Marcus replied evenly. Everything on this road concerns us. The man sighed. You caused problems. Deaths. Chaos. We're here to clean it up. Ethan felt the familiar guilt claw at his chest. Then take me. No, the man said. We take everyone who gets in the way. The wind picked up, dust swirling around their feet. The road waited. Lena's voice was steady. You don't know us. The man almost smiled. I know enough. Hands drifted closer to weapons. Not yet. But soon. Ethan looked at Marcus. If this turns ugly. Marcus cut him off. We don't bargain with fear. The man raised a hand, stopping his team. He studied Ethan more closely now. You keep surviving things you shouldn't, he said. That usually means something's unfinished. Ethan met his gaze. Then finish it the right way. A long pause. Then the man spoke again, softer. Walk away. All of you. Leave the vehicles. Leave the road. This ends now. Marcus shook his head. This road is who we are. The man exhaled slowly, like someone disappointed but unsurprised. He lowered his hand. In that instant, everything could still go wrong. Ethan felt it, the fragile edge between bloodshed and mercy. He stepped forward one last time. You want payment? Ethan said. Then let it be me. Not them. I won't run. I won't fight. I'll stay. Silence fell. Marcus grabbed his arm. That's not the code. Ethan looked back at him, eyes clear. Sometimes the code means knowing when to stop the road from taking more. The man considered him. For the first time since Dead Mile, Ethan felt something close to peace. Because whatever happened next, he had already made his final choice. No one moved. The wind crossed the cracked asphalt, carrying dust, old tire marks, and the weight of every choice made on that road. The man lowered his weapon first. Take him, one of his men said. The leader raised a hand. No. Everyone froze. He looked at Ethan, really looked at him, not as a target, but as a man who had stopped running. You stayed, he said. Most don't. Marcus stepped forward. Then let this end. The leader nodded once. It already has. He turned to his team. Stand down. Weapons lowered. Engines cut. The road exhaled. The leader faced Ethan again. Disappear. All of you. This road never sees you again. And if it does? Marcus asked. Then we won't be talking. The trucks turned around and vanished into the distance, swallowed by heat and dust. Silence returned, different now. Lighter. Ethan's knees nearly gave out. Marcus caught him, gripping him hard. You didn't leave, Marcus said quietly. I almost did. But you didn't. Lena wiped at her eyes, pretending it was dust. Guess you're stuck with us. They packed up what they could and drove away before doubt could return. No chase. No sirens. Just the sound of engines choosing a new direction. Hours later, they reached open highway. The kind that doesn't demand anything, it just waits. They stopped at a ridge overlooking endless road. Sunlight stretched long and golden. Ethan stepped out, breathing deeply. For a long time, he said, I thought the road only took from me. Marcus stood beside him. It takes. But it also gives. Ethan nodded. It gave me you. They didn't answer. They didn't need to. As engines roared back to life, Ethan smiled, not because everything was fixed, but because he finally knew who he was. Not a fugitive. Not a ghost. A man who chose where his road ended, and where it began again. The convoy rolled forward, disappearing into the horizon. Not chasing speed. But carrying stories. Stories worth remembering. Thank you for watching Beyond Speed. If this story moved you, subscribe to the channel and tell us. Where are you watching from? Which part hit you the hardest? Because every road has a story. And this one is just the beginning.